If you have been following me for a while, you probably know that I love a good map. I love a good system for understanding the world and everything. And through my work, I have explored Venus cycles, lunar cycles, all kinds of astrology, seasonal work, Kabbalah. And each of these maps has a layer of magical wisdom for understanding who we are and what our place is within the cosmos, within the purpose of life. And one that is just repeated over and over and over through so many different systems is this 4-part journey. The way that things cycle through these 4 phases, from an intention, a spark, a remembering, to really rooting and taking action on that idea, the initiation phase, and then this phase of growing and evolving and needing attention as it is fully established, and then that phase of completion, of reaching its ultimate peak and abundance and dying and being released. And we move through these 4 cycles in so many ways, in like the seasons every year, in the way that we set intentions by moon phases, in our menstrual cycles, in manifestation, and in motherhood as well. The longing, the expansion, the devotion, and the becoming as we move through to maturity in our motherhood journey. And so I want to talk to you about how I am using this framework, which I am calling each phase remember, root, tend, and grow. And I'm going to use this framework in all of my work. For the moment, I am centering my readings around these 4 phases, and all of the content that I produce is in some way or another going to be linked to these 4 phases. So I wanted to stop and talk to you about what they are, about what they mean to me, and about the ways that I think they can be helpful to you. I use archetypes a lot to help understand astrology and to help understand the world and the way that we move through it. So for each of these phases, I have given an archetype, and you will know that this is part of my process if you have been following along with my 13 moons journey. I think it's a really helpful way to turn an energy into a person. It helps you to have a relationship with it, and it helps you to understand it at a deeper, more personal level. So starting with the remember phase, we have the archetype of the dreamer. The dreamer is the dream that lives within all of us. And these archetypes, they represent a part of ourselves. They represent an energy that we can go to understand this more deeply. When we're in this phase of remember, when we're in the energy of the dreamer archetype, we have a deep knowing within us that we are meant for more. It's like in the story of Inanna when she hears the call. And I think this is true of every great story. Every great story begins with a call, begins with the whisper of what you're meant to be, the whisper of where you're heading, of the adventure that you are called on, of the thing that you are to grow into or to grow as part of your life's work. And so this remember phase, when we are connecting with the dreamer archetype and growing something magical in our lives, this is the moment where we just have a remembering, just have that deep soul knowledge of who we are and what we're here for. And when we are really tuned in to that deep remembering, this is the spark that guides us to create the most magical, the most aligned the most deeply connected life for ourselves that we possibly could. The second phase is the root phase, and this is guided by the initiate. The initiate takes us through a threshold from an idea to something that we are actually taking action to. And this might be as simple as the difference between having a dream or a desire in your heart and speaking it out loud to someone else. That is a threshold crossing. That is an initiation. That is moving into a deeper connection with the dream. Moving into a deeper understanding, integrating that remembering. And this phase is all about those first steps, that bold expansion, that taking action, making the first move, moving into a new phase, moving towards your becoming. We are rooting because this is where we're sending down roots. This is where we're making this something that cannot be taken away from us, or at the very least testing whether this is something that we can really root into our life. Every manifestation is also a banishing. And so being in that energy of, if I say yes to this, what do I need to say no to? What do I need to lay down if this is something that I really want to pursue? If the remembering, if the dream is something that I am really called to, what is the first step? What do I need to leave behind? Where do I need to put my roots down? How big a hole am I going to need to dig in my life to make space for this dream? And this is such a powerful step. It's like the first real step forwards. After the remembering, after the idea has landed, this is where we're actually making it real. And from here, we move to the tending phase, which is guided by the priestess. And the priestess teaches us that looking after this plant, this seed, this rooted desire, that looking after that is sacred work. It's important that we tend to it, that we make sure that it is well looked after, that it is nourished, that it is watered, that it has our attention, that it has our devotion. How many times do we make these big plans and then stop paying attention to them? And then it becomes, oh, it was that thing that I once did, rather than really having a chance to reach its completion, to reach its fullness. This is such an important phase, and I really feel like this is such a central phase for this journey of motherhood. The devotion, the tending, the constant feeding and watering and not forgetting and not letting it drop off our to-do list. That is such an important piece that is so often taken from us in motherhood. We're so often distracted. There's so often other things that come to the top of our list. And that's why this is like just such a central piece of my work. This idea of creating tiny rituals, of finding ways to just nurture tiny pieces of magic in our day-to-day lives, of finding ways to hold on to those beautiful little sparks of remembering, and to nurture them into something that is a beautifully crafted life, a life that honors these soul rememberings, that honors the first steps that we took, that honors the moments of recognition and of dreaming, of big dreams, to really honor those pieces of ourselves as sacred, as valuable, as central. They are as central as all of our massive to-do list that we are doing. And so this tend phase is such an important piece for me, for my work. And then the final phase is the grow phase. This phase is guided by the witch archetype. And she teaches us about completion. She teaches us about alchemy. She teaches us about moving through the completion phase. And as we have tended to and nurtured and nourished these dreams, maybe even these children, that feels alive to me right now as a mother of a child who has now gone off to university, as we nurture and nourish and pour much into raising these children. That phase, alchemy of watching them reach their own independence. And this happens at so many stages through raising children, for sure. But this is not the final stage. I don't know why I'm making this such a big deal. But the stage of where they are moving out of where they have a life that is very separate to yours. He'll be back for holidays, but right now, he's living his own life. He's learning and growing and making friends and making all of his own food and living in his own flat. And that space of growth where he has fully grown, and it is time for me to let go. It's time for me to allow him to make his own choices and his own mistakes. The witch teaches us about that. And this applies to so many areas of life as well, like the work that we do, the times that we get a new soul remembering, that we see ourselves on the edge of a soul remembering, and we realize that whatever it is that we're working on, whatever it is that we've been building, it is time to release that. It is time to move on to the next thing. The witch phase has space for grief and loss, although those also flow into the remembering that is often a part of the soul remembering process. But it also is a space of fullness and abundance and reaching the highest point, reaching the point where we have achieved the thing that we wanted to achieve. When we've reached the goal that we set, and then it is time to take a breath and set a new goal, to really celebrate and honor the milestone that we've reached, and also to know that it is time to set new goals, to set new milestones. And that is the energy of the witch, as she alchemizes one dream into an ending and a new beginning. It is a space of transformation, of evolution. And for each of these stages, I have a different offering, a different reading that I offer. So if you are in the phase of remembering, if you are just stepping into that soul remembrance, it might be really helpful to you to book a Soul Spark reading. In a Soul Spark reading, I will record a 15-minute video of me looking at your chart and explaining the key archetypal energies within your chart. I'll be able to pull out like how you communicate, how you love, what energy you are here to embody in this lifetime, and which kinds of archetypes are likely to be really helpful guides. In a Soul Spark reading, you can offer me a question. You can say, this is what's going on in my life. This is a question that is at the front of my mind right now. What does my chart say about it? And I'll be able to unpack that energy and tell you what your chart has to say about the theme that is coming through for you. If you are in the rooting phase, if you're just beginning something new and you need some guidance, it might be really helpful for you to book an initiation reading. The initiation reading is 90 minutes on Zoom. We both meet and talk about what's in your chart, what it is that's coming up in your life right now, and we look for ways to really root in the energy that is coming through in this season. I'll look at planetary transits and those longer cycles that might be playing out through your life so that we can really orient you to the energy that is alive for you right now, astrologically and in your own practical personal life. I can help to bring clarity and ritual so that you can step into that space of really rooting your vision and really anchoring that soul remembering in a really practical way. If you are in the tending phase, then my offering that I'm really most excited about right now is my flame tending session. I have expanded this. It was a 1-day offering, but now it is over 4 days. I have created this really beautiful workbook, which will be tailored to whatever is coming through in your life. We will look at these 4 areas of your life that you really want to set intentions in, and we will look at ways to cultivate those intentions. And over these 4 days, you'll have a chance to ask me any questions that you have. I'll begin by having a really good look at your astrological chart, and I'll give you a reading that will be sent to you in Telegram in like voice message notes. I will continually check in over those 4 days with voice notes, telling you what I see in your chart, responding to any questions that come up, and helping you to go through this worksheet in a way that helps you to set really powerful intentions for where you are headed in your life and for cultivating a really beautiful routine of devotion to yourself, of devotion to your dreams, of devotion to your family and your friendships, and of really nurturing every aspect of your life. And if you are in the grow phase, then I have the Cauldron for you. This is the phase of deep alchemy, of deep transformation, of really integrating everything that has happened in the cycle so far, and of really grounding that in so that you have a deeper understanding, so that you have a maturity and a wisdom of the lessons learned, and that you are ready to move forwards, to up level, to change and shift and evolve your life. This is a long, slow container. The Cauldron can be booked for 3 months or for 6 months, and I will help you through this whole journey of understanding, integrating, and moving through. We'll use all of the tools from the other sessions that I have. So I will do a full initiation reading with you to begin, and we will work through the process of the cycle of becoming, and we will move into a deeper connection to yourself, a deeper connection to your vision for your life. And we will hold all of the lessons that come through with gentleness and with spaciousness to really integrate the wisdom that you have within you already, so that you can heal and grow and move forwards into the next phase of your becoming. If you are ready to begin this journey, then I have a meditation bundle of 4 activations taking you through each of these phases to meet each of these archetypes and to connect with their wisdom, to help you connect with where you are on your journey. The first one of these activations is free and you can sign up. The link is below in the description. If you would like to book any of the readings that I mentioned, I would love to connect with you. Deepening into this cycle has been such a profound and deep shift in my life. It has helped me to reframe so many things and to be more intentional in where I'm heading and in integrating the lessons that I've already learned. And so I really hope that as I share more of these themes of this work, that it will be really helpful to you for moving through difficult times and for entering into expansiveness when it is available to us, and really staying in alignment with our soul's journey through this lifetime. I really hope that this becomes a compass for you as well, so that you can recognize where you are and trust the timing, trust that you are in the right place. We are always in the right place, exactly where we're supposed to be. And to help you to move through and orient yourself in a way that is really supportive, welcome to the cycle of becoming.